All right, we appreciate Coach Steve Alford giving us a couple minutes of his time. Huge game Friday night, Lawler Event Center, Boise State coming down to face Nevada. Coach, we appreciate your time and obviously an early big game in the Mountain West here on Friday night.
Yeah, that's the way the Mountain West Conference is. Every time you get a chance to play in this league, they're big and they're important, whether they're home or road, and you got to play well. This is a league where it's hard to win if you got your B or C game. So it'll be a very competitive game, I'm sure.
We talked to Nico Medved on the show before Boise State played Colorado State a couple of days ago, and we appreciate you doing the same for viewers here in Boise. And what do you make? I mean, you've been around this conference a long time. In the past, you left, you came back, but I mean, just to see the depth right now, and Boise State, the quote-unquote sixth team in the metrics right now, when you're looking at them on film and watching this matchup, I mean, just how deep is this league, and how much credit do you think they deserve, and do you think they are getting nationally at this point?
Well, I don't know if any of us are getting what we deserve yet, but that's all part of it. I think it's just about game to game trying to get better. And in our league, I don't even know if you can get a top 6 yet. I look at San Jose, who's 0-3 right now, and they could easily be 3-0.
Yeah,
this is a league that is extremely deep, top to bottom. And it's just about it. We've been telling our guys just week to week, let's get better, control what you can control. And we know how good Boise is. We know how good the rest of our league is. So it's about just trying to get better on our end.
There's been some talk in Boise, Coach, about the scheduling philosophies of some of the Mountain West teams, and the way the net ranking is set up. You can really help yourself by beating up on a bad team, over maybe losing a quality game on the road to a good team. Well, what's your take? We've obviously seen you guys are very high in the metrics. You have some very nice wins, the TCU win, and Washington, and down the line. But we're seeing some teams like a New Mexico, some other teams maybe that the rankings are they haven't necessarily challenged themselves as much in the non-con. I'm curious, just generally, what do you think of the net ranking, the way it works, how it penalizes or helps teams based on who you're playing and the quad system and all that stuff?
Yeah, I don't really get too wrapped up with that. Obviously, net's important. I think we're top 30.
Yeah.
So our guys have done what they needed to do. We played 3 Power 5s and beat all 3 of them. Our lone loss was against the Drake team, who's now leading the Missouri Valley. Just had a huge win over Indiana State. So, it's just trying to play as competitive a schedule as you can, not just at home, but in particular away from home. And we're in a great field in the Diamond Head in Hawaii. We got a home scheduled with Washington, which obviously helps us, and we were able to get that road win. So it's just a matter, I think, just trying to schedule as best you can, and then you got to go away from home, and you got to try to win some of those games. And it's never easy, because I think road wins and wins away from home are very, very difficult to get. And then you get back home and it's like you think you should just win home games, but those are grinds. So it's a lot of parity in college basketball. And I think the Mountain West is doing an outstanding job. I think we've got, 6 teams with a net that is inside the top 60. So you've done that pretty much through the non-league, maybe 2 weeks of the conference season. But I think the majority of our schools did a really good job of scheduling and setting themselves up in the non-conference going into league play.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's almost unheard of to think of the Mountain West. I mean, Boise State's in the stretch where they play 7 quad 1 games out of 10 games. I mean, the opportunities you guys have now in the league, whether it be at home or on the road. I mean, in the past, you didn't get a lot of chances in the league maybe to help yourselves as much, but every other game you're playing is potentially a quad 1 game for all these teams. I mean, I know you're going to beat up on each other a little bit, but the numbers should all help each other at the same time. I mean, how nice is that as well to see what's ahead here in terms of the scheduling?
Well, I think that's the key, because when you look at the Power 6 of how they do it, they do beat up on themselves as well. You got Nebraska now in the Big Ten that is getting some huge wins. And so I don't think that hurts, other teams so much. It's not going to affect Purdue. It's not going to affect these teams down the road when you get into February, when all of a sudden you've lost to another quad 1 team in your own league. So that's where our league has been trending, and now you're seeing our league do that. And I think it was really good last year, and I think it's even better this year, to where you're exactly right. You're going to play an 18-game schedule, and there's a chance that 10 to 12, maybe somewhere in there, are going to be quad 1 games, quad 2 games. And so that tells you how good the Mountain West Conference is now.
Yeah, and then even like you mentioned San Jose, like right now playing San Jose like at home would be a quad 4 game. That might be one of the hardest quad 4 games in history. Thinking about just the way the things line up. So yeah, the league's done a great job, and I know at the top it's a lot of teams like yourselves and Boise State thinking there's a lot of opportunities here. I want to ask you about two guys in particular on your team. For folks in Boise, we've talked a lot about them, obviously in terms of all league guys, Jared Lucas and Keenan Blackshear, and maybe just touch on each of those guys and what they mean to your team. And obviously both of them scoring at a high rate for you and doing a lot of things. I know Keenan's almost 5 assists a game as well, over 5 rebounds a game, and Jared shooting really well from the outside. What do those two guys mean to your team?
Well, they're huge keys, and they've been very good as leaders. I think that's the thing where we've seen their growth over the last 2 years, and it's a fun team to coach because those guys lead us. Jared obviously can shoot the ball, but I like what he's doing defensively. I like how he's getting to the free throw line. I love his leadership. Keenan is a two-way guy that I think he's all league offense, all league defense. He's a hard matchup when you got a 6'6" point guard that's 230 pounds. So it starts with those guys, but we've got much more depth this year, much more experience this year than we had a year ago, and I think that's what's been helping us.
Yeah, I was wanting to ask you about that as well. You know, Nick Davidson, obviously 11-7, I think. You got Trey Coleman, some other guys as well. Maybe just touch on a couple of the other guys that really have been key for you that obviously Boise State fans are going to learn a lot more about on Friday night.
Well, we just got everybody healthy. You know, last year, that's why I was so impressed with what our guys were able to do. We were beat up. KJ missed almost the whole year. Hunter McIntosh missed about the whole year. Both of those guys are very healthy now. Daniel Foster was in and out of our program with injuries last year, and he's been healthy the whole season. You're getting to see what he's all about. Then you had a Tylen Pope, Tyler Rollison is a really good freshman point guard that's been helping us a lot. We got 2 bigs in Jazz and Jariah that we can play off the bench if we've got to go deep into the roster as well. So, you know, and Amir Robinson's going to be a really good player for us as we continue to move down the not just this year, but in coming years. So we like our roster. We like where we're at. We've been building towards this depth. We can withstand foul trouble. We can withstand some things because of our depth. And we've been able to kind of organize that and deal with it during the season. And hopefully we stay healthy and continue to move forward.
Couple final things here for Steve Alford, head coach at Nevada, here on Bronco Nation News ahead of the Friday night showdown with Boise State, 8:30 Mountain Time on Fox Sports 1, I believe, 7:30 Pacific there in Reno. Coach, what concerns you most about the Broncos as they come to town?
They're like us. They've got age. They've got maturity. They've got guys that have been there, done that. You know, obviously you come into some years where you play certain teams and they're like, they've never been to Lawler, or you go to Boise, we've never been to Boise, those type of things. You got 2 teams down here on Friday. The majority of these guys have been to Reno. Our guys have played Boise. So I think there's mutual respect on both ends because of, 1, the talent of the players, but 2, also the experience of the players. And, you know, so just like we've had to do a lot this year in the teams that we've played, you just play old, mature teams now. So it's not about, I don't think it's so much about the schemes as it is about being who you are and playing as well as you can.
Omar Stanley obviously has come on strong, the St. John's transfer. I don't know if it's him or Degenhardt or who the one guy you're trying to stop is, but I guess Omar Stanley with what he's doing right now, 4 17-plus point games at 30 points at San Jose. What kind of challenge is he going to be on the interior?
Well, he's obviously a big challenge. He's been playing extremely well. He's definitely going through a very good stretch of play for them. So he's like all of them. You know, that starting unit is very, very talented, and they've got very good balance. 4 guys in double figures and freshman that comes off the bench and gets double figures in the last game. So they got a very, very good balanced team offensively, and they do an outstanding job defensively. So we know we got our work cut out. We're going to have to play very well on Friday.
I know it's one game. You don't put all the eggs in the basket, whatever, but we've talked so much about this league and about the road venues you have to go to in this league. I mean, how important in this league is protecting home court?
Oh, I think all the coaches would tell you, you know, how important it is to protect home court because, you know, if you can take care of home court, then it puts less pressure on how many you got to go away from home of getting because it's always difficult winning road games. But it is whether you're going to be at home or on the road. We only play Air Force once, so we don't go there. We only play Utah State once and at their place, so they don't come here. So it's just as you go through this schedule, and it's a monster schedule, you take it one game by game, and you just try to get better in each game. And that's what we've tried to focus on all year long.
Well, that's a discussion for another day, Coach. I think it should be a full round robin schedule. Play everybody twice. I don't know where you sit on that. I don't know why you don't, but that's not really fair that you have to go to Logan and they don't have to come back to your place. It is what it is, and I'm not asking you to comment on it, but I think it'd be more fair if everybody played everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, I think hopefully that's coming down the road. There's a lot of movement with a lot of things going on, obviously with a lot of the Power 5, Power 6 conferences, and we'll see how that all plays out. But that always makes it, I think, better, not just for the players and coaches. It's better for the fans. And you get a conference champ where you've played everybody, and I think that's good. In our league now, because of how competitive we are top to bottom, that doesn't hurt you scheduling wise like it might have done 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, Boise State had to play 2 non-division ones. Just play the 2 teams you're not playing again instead of that. And yeah, it is what it is. But Coach, we really appreciate your time. You're getting set for the. Yeah, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much, and we'll see you out at the game on Friday night.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Thanks.